सिर घूम रहा है मेरा ना आज, पता नहीं क्या है पेट में, इसलिए मैं सैर करके ही जल्दी आ गई। ठीक है, चैंटिंग ये इसका ये भी पढ़ रहा है,
किसी की चैंटिंग
नहीं इसकी करेंगे, इसका हिंदी भी पढ़ना है।
हाँ
इसमें नहीं है,
इसमें भी होगी, देखो हिंदी तो नहीं होगी,
हाँ हिंदी नहीं,
सो इंग्लिश होगा, हिंदी होगी। देखो
चल रहा है ये मर्जी है।
क्या है इसका,
इसका
इंग्लिश
कौन सा
में
पेज है?
इंग्लिश में बताने ना क्या होगा इसका।
कौन सा निकाला था? हाँ ये है 32-33 पेज
उसमें लिख दिया
है।
इसमें तो लिख दिया, इसमें
अच्छा।
ढूंढना मुश्किल है।
नहीं है तो रहना। इसको धीरे धीरे पढ़ना होगा, मेहता चैंटिंग मेहता कैसे कहते हैं?
वो दिमाग दिशाएं नहीं वो ही है।
अच्छा एक दिशा में पहले अच्छा 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 रुमाल बंद नहीं था तो रुमाल बंद नहीं भगवान बुद्ध
उससे तो
सूर्य फिर से 12 बार।
पहले तो इवनिंग चैंटिंग कर
हाँ
वरना ये तो बार बार बोलते हैं जिससे लोगों में
करा शुरू किया। Evening chanting, page 14. योऽसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो स्वाक्षातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपटिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावकसङ्गो तमयं भगवन्तं सधम्मं ससङ्गम् इमे हि सकारे यथार्हम् आरोपिते हि अभिपूजयाम साधुनो भन्ते भगवा शुचिरपरिनिभूतोऽपि पश्चिमा जनता
Mobile device not found. Ready to pair.
इमे सकारे दुगत फणाकार भूते पटिगन्हातु अम्हाकं दीघरतं हिताय सुखाय अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादीमि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मं नमस्सामि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि हन्तमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो उपभाग नमकारं करोमसे नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य हन्तमयं बुद्धानुसतिनयं करोमसे तां कोपन भगवन्तम् एवं कल्याणो कि सद्दो अभुगतो इति पिसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसदं सारथि सत्ता देवमनसानं बुद्धो भगवाति हन्तमयं बुद्धाभिगीतिं करोमसे बुद्धवारहन्तवरतादिगुणाभियुतो शुद्धाभिज्ञानकरुणा हि समागततो बोधेसियो सुजनतं कमलं वसुरो वन्दामहं तमरणं शिरसा जिनेन्दं बुद्धो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं किममुत्तमम् पठमानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणं बुद्धस्सहस्मिदासीवा बुद्धो मे सामिकेसरो बुद्धस्सहं नियादीन् शरीरं जीवितं चिदम् वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सत्यवज्रेण वड्ढेयं सत्तु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानं कयं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सभ्येऽपि अन्तराय मे माहेषु तस्य तेजसा हन्तमयं धम्मानुसतिनयं करोमसे स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठिको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको ओपनयिको पश्चात् वेदितव्यो विन्योहीति हन्तमयं धम्माभिगीतिं करोमसे स्वाखातो समाखाततादिगुणयोग सेन सेयो यो मग्गपाकपरियतिविमोक्षभेदो धम्मो कुलोकपतन तदधारि वन्दामहं तमरं परधम्ममेतं धम्मो यो सबपाणिन शरणं खेममुत्तमं द्वितीयानुसतिष्ठान वन्दामि तं शिरेणहम् धम्मस्सास्मि दासीमा धम्मो मे सामिकिस्सरो धम्मासहं नियादे शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि धम्मस्येव सुधम्मतम् नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने धम्मं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सभ्येऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषुं तस्य तेजसा हन्दमयं सङ्घानुसतिनयं करोमसे सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अष्टपुरुषपुद्गला एष भगवतो सावक संघो आहुनेयो दक्षिणे अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेश लोकस्वाति हन्दमयं सङ्गाविगीतिं करोमसे सधम्मजो सुपटिपत्तिगुणाधियुतो यो अष्टविधो अरियपुङ्गल सङ्घसेठो शीलादिधम्मपवरा सयकाय चेतो वन्दामहं तमरिगणं सुशुद्धं संघो यो सबपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं तदीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहम् संघस्सास्मि दासीव संघो मे सामिकिस्सरो संघस्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्या संघस्सोपटिपन्नतं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यं संघो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने संघं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतं विद सभ्येऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषुं तस्य तेजसा वर्षा आखिर पर तब हिंदी करेंगे पूरे पूरी पर अकर हिंदी सुना नहीं तो कुछ पेज 32 ब्रह्म विहारों से व्याप्त करना हंदमयम चतुरप्पमन्या ओभासनम करोमसे मेत्ता मेत्ता सहगतेन चेतसा एकं दिशं फरित्वा विहरति तथा द्वितीयं तथा तृतीयं तथा चतुर्थम् इति उद्धमधोतिरियं सब्बदी सब्बत्तताय सब्बावन्तं लोकम् मेत्ता सहगतेन चेतसा विपुलेन महद्गतेन अपमानेन अवैरेण अव्यापज्येन फरित्वा विहरति करुणा सहगतेन चेतसा एकं दिशं विहरति तथा द्वितीयं तथा तृतीयं तथा चतुर्थम् इति उद्धमदो तिर्यं सब्बदी सब्बत्तताय सब्बावन्तं लोकम् करुणा सहगतेन चेतसा विपुलेन महद्गतेन अपमानेन अवैरेण अव्यापज्येन फरित्वा विहरति मुदिता सहगतेन चेतसा एकं दिशं फरित्वा विहरति तथा द्वितीयं तथा तृतीयं तथा चतुर्थम् इति उद्धमदो तिर्यं सब्बदी सब्बत्तताय सब्बावन्तं लोकम् मुदिता सहगतेन चेतसा विपुलेन महद्गतेन अपमानेन अवैरेण अव्यापज्येन फरित्वा विहरति उपेक्षा सहगतेन चेतसा एकं दिशं फरित्वा विहरति तथा द्वितीयं तथा तृतीयं तथा चतुर्थम् इति उद्धमधोतिर्यं सब्बदी सब्बत्तताय सब्बावन्तं लोकम् उपेक्षा सहगतेन चेतसा विपुलेन महद्गतेन अपमानेन अवैरेण अव्यापज्येन फरित्वा विहरति। आए हम चारों असीम गुणों को प्रकाशमान करें। मैं एक दिशा को मैत्री चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ, इसी प्रकार दूसरी, इसी प्रकार तीसरी, इसी प्रकार चौथी। ऐसे ही ऊपर और नीचे, आड़े तिरछे, चारों ओर, सर्वत्र अपने को एवं सबको, सभी लोगों को मैं विपुल, महान, असीम, निर्वैर, द्वेष रहित, मैत्री संपन्न चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। मैं एक दिशा को करुणा चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ, इसी प्रकार दूसरी, इसी प्रकार तीसरी, इसी प्रकार चौथी। ऐसे ही ऊपर और नीचे, आड़े तिरछे, चारों ओर, सर्वत्र अपने को एवं सबको, सभी लोगों को मैं विपुल, महान, असीम, निर्वैर, द्वेष रहित, करुणा संपन्न चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। मैं एक दिशा को मुदित चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। इसी प्रकार दूसरी, इसी प्रकार तीसरी, इसी प्रकार चौथी, ऐसे ही ऊपर और नीचे, आड़े तिरछे, चारों ओर, सर्वत्र अपने को एवं सबको, सभी लोगों को मैं विपुल, महान, असीम, निर्वैर, द्वेष रहित, मुदिता संपन्न चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। मैं एक दिशा को उपेक्षा चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। इसी प्रकार दूसरी, इसी प्रकार तीसरी, इसी प्रकार चौथी, ऐसे ही ऊपर और नीचे, आड़े तिरछे, चारों ओर, सर्वत्र अपने को एवं सबको, सभी लोगों को मैं विपुल, महान, असीम, निर्वैर, द्वेष रहित, उपेक्षा संपन्न चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करती हूँ। गई। Person.
Connected to 1+3G.
Now we listen to the discourse in the Satipatthana series called Mindfulness of Mind in the Body.
I want to welcome everyone. This is the last talk on the foundation of the body. First foundation, physical form, and then there'll be a discussion some week around this, I think. I can't even remember. Then we'll move into the next foundation, which is Vedana, or feeling tones. And that's a rather short one. I don't have a lot to say. I have about 2 or 3 talks, and that'll be it for that one. And then the main brunt of the talks in this series on the Satipatthana Sutta has to do with the foundation of the body. And we've looked at it from a variety of different points of view. And tonight I'd like to incorporate all those points of view into the principle that should be guiding our meditation. And that is said simply that the sacred is that which is not created by thought. The sacred is not something you can think about, but exists prior to thinking, prior to establishing a conceptual overlay. And therefore, our practices should resolve the compulsion to think and take us into deeper quietude. Now, you can judge a practice by whether it does just that. do the practices release the need to have to think about something? Do they allow us to feel as if we are abiding in a quieter, from a quieter resonance in ourselves than prior to practicing? So that should be a standard model for all of us in terms of direction. And just look whatever practice you're doing, because many practices, especially in this tradition, often make you noisier in practicing them. And you have to ask yourself, whose authority are we going to judge this by? Are we going to judge it by the teacher who says this is what I need to do, 10,000 mantras or whatever, or by the effect on my consciousness, and whether this moves me in a direction that I can perceive as being useful once I understand the true direction that all spirituality moves. So I thought what I would do is look at all of the different practices that we've sort of laid out in front of ourselves from the early part of this sutta, and see whether they meet the critical test, the litmus test, of whether they make us quieter and resolve some of our compulsion to have to think, or whether in fact they do just the opposite of that. And so I want to look at what we've been doing here. The first direction, practice that the sutta drew us to, pointed out, was the entering the body to steady our attention. And it gave the breath as a way to do just that. And to find some foothold in ourselves that allowed us to even know the difference between thinking and experience, which is what breath meditation ultimately does. It not only steadies the attention, but it steadies the attention by knowing whether it is thinking about something or whether it's being present to something. And as I've mentioned before, any practice should show us that relevance, should show us whether we're just going in and making more noise, or whether we are drawing ourselves through that noise so that we can be clear as to what is noise and what is quietude. And with experience, with just the experience, without the noise maker there, all things are very quiet inside. And so the breath meditation should, if we're using it in the correct alignment and in the correct direction, should begin to show us the distinction between thinking about the breath or about anything and the breath, which doesn't need thoughts about it in order to move it. And so as we learn how to rest on the breath without compelling ourselves to think about it, there's a change of location, environment that happens there. The thinking environment is very different than the quiet environment of just being present. And we begin to sense that the environment of just being present, even when it's very simply just on the breath that we're being present to, we feel like we're entering a kind of cave of ourselves, a kind of quietness that we may not have known. And this can be very alluring. Within the cave there can be a lot of attractive features. In fact, one of the components of this sutta is to engender and cultivate calm within the breath. In fact, it says, breathe calm in while breathing in, and breathe calm out when exhaling. So as there's this focus on not just steadying our attention on the breath, but also nurturing a sense of calm and abidance as the breath is noticed. And that calmness allows us to feel much more settled than we have been in the past. And in fact, it allows us to feel very relaxed. The calming effect on anything is a systems effect on us, with a quieter and less tense mind and a relaxed body. Now, anytime our psyche is less compelled to think, and our body is less resistant and less stressed and less tense. Less tense. What happens is that there's less noise. The tensions of our mind, the disturbances, the difficulties, the arguments we offer life is often has a verbal content. If not verbal content, it has a component, almost physical component, of digging our heels in, that kind of feeling of just backing away or wanting to turn away from. And that sort of tightness has its effect upon us. And most of us have lived a long period of time under the duress of our own stress. And so as we begin to bring this calm on, when we begin to allow ourselves to feel the effects of the meditation in calm, and also simultaneously to begin to notice when and what a life lived through thought is like, and what a life lived through just abiding attention is like, we begin to appreciate from having lived the experience of it, we begin to appreciate what a body free of stress. And that begins to simplify our life down. We begin to want to be under less duress, under less stress. We don't want to carry the same kind of often speedy and tense relationships to the different aspects of our life that we have been. We don't want to feel so closed off from ourselves. And so this simple breath meditation, we can see, brings us into the realm of calm, and also sets a direction for us that is very enticing and alluring, that says complexity is not necessarily where I want or how I want to spend my life. And I want to just be simpler, just drawn by the beauty of what simplicity means, what it feels like to live with less resistance. And so it starts pulling us in that way. And so we can line that up with the gauge that we set. Yeah, this is making me quieter. This is allowing me to establish some sense of direction and clarity for myself that with all the accompanying and compounding thoughts, up until this point, I just haven't been able to establish. I haven't even been able to establish the fact of what the disturbance of thinking is doing to me until I began to watch and see its effect upon me. And now that I have just gone under the first layer of this noise, it sets in motion an intentionality in us to continue the process of less noise and more simplicity. And so that attention on the body not only steadies the mind, but also gives us a direction that is often a compelling direction for us. And then the sutta doesn't stop there. It takes us into the body itself, the physicality of the experience of the body, and we begin to develop a relationship with the body that puts the body in relationship to the earth. Anytime you enter the body, you enter the earth, because the body is of the earth. In fact, you not only enter the earth, you enter the universe at large. I mean, enter it, not just be airy and spacey, but actually have a relationship to it, actually have a place within it. Because, as I've noted in other talks, the very elements of the body are elements of the stars, exploding stars. Literally, exploding stars form the atoms of our bodies. And so you begin to feel not only the resonance with the earth that is holding all of these elements, but with the stars themselves that replenished the earth many, many billions of years ago to establish this connection. And so when we enter the body, we enter much more than this very limited form that we have, as the poem said, it's unsatisfactory, I don't like it, it's never right, it's never... But we get a sense that we're entering something much larger than what we have taken our bodies to be. And we can begin to feel a sense of connectedness that we may have missed prior to now. And this is a very important component of body meditation, because from that sense of steadiness, and with our learned and growing understanding and wisdom from breath and body connection, we begin to sense that this body could be nowhere else than where it is. Now that's a fundamental fact that when completely owned and completely acknowledged within oneself, that we have no other life than the life of what we are leading in this moment, and we have no other place to be than the place we are in this moment. And we suddenly, what dawns on us, or at least it did on me, and I hope it does on you, is that I owe no excuse to anything for being where I am. There's no apology that I need to make to anyone for being where I am. And when I do feel apologetic, it's usually because I've done something deceitful and I feel that I shouldn't be where I am, or I'll be found out, discovered. And so when I keep myself in some sort of ethical alignment, then I have no apology to make, period. It doesn't move that way. In fact, it doesn't even make sense to say, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I hadn't said that, or I wish I hadn't been there, and because you did. And that's the only reality we have. There isn't another reality. There isn't another story that could be written except the story that has been written. Now, the reason that this is so important in terms of the quieting aspect of the meditation is that confidence quiets us down considerably. Up until then, the mind, which is disassociated from the body for most of us and for most of our life, feels like it has lots of options other than where the body is. It thinks it could go hither and thither. It thinks it should be, would be, expecting to be in other locations. And it isn't until it absolutely sees in accordance with where the body is that it cannot be anywhere else, that it discovers its true home and quiets down in accordance with that fact. Literally stops that endless running off, endless fantasize. And may I say, that one of the beauties of the mind before we awaken to its disadvantages is the belief that it provides the conduit for us to leave anytime we want. And if the situation gets bad and the body can't leave, our mind certainly can, can't they? And do. And so oftentimes commitment for us is just showing up in body but not in mind. It's like, I'll be here for you, but don't ask me to be present for you. And a real maturation of what commitment means is that the body is in location and presence follows the body, because those two now are in synchronicity with one another. They don't run off on separate tracks. But believing that the mind can take me anywhere and I can feel anything and I can believe anything and I can fantasize anything, allows the mind to feel as if it has all the power in the world, until it lines up with the wisdom that it has no power. All of the running offs are just forms of trickery, fantasy, imagination. And that the real world waits for those who invite it in and establish that line of confidence with it. And so with that line of confidence comes that unshakable sense of being in the right place at all times. And what that does is that it shatters our doubt. The doubt wavers and judgment and consideration and thinks maybe I'm not up for the task, and maybe I shouldn't give it, I'll try a little bit, but I don't really think that I'm going to be able to do it. And with the coming together of the mind within the body and the body with the earth, and the assurance of here and now presence within that alignment, the doubt begins to become alleviated. It doesn't feel quite as convincing when the sounds of it arise. Because again, it's not arising from the body, and the body becomes the truer organism of direction. And the mind is the one that has to be constantly held by the body, brought into, kind of reeled in, because the mind just doesn't want to stay present. It's restless and turbulent. It's critical and always expecting something that is not arising, wishing for something or fearing something that will be arising, and completely unsettled. And the body begins to become the masterful tool in this, and the mind becomes less of the focus and investment of our energy. And it does that just through seeing that it really doesn't have anything bright to say. That the body has its own communication, its own alignment, its own intelligence is far greater in capacity and in wisdom than the mind. It just babbles. It just babbles endlessly. But we've invested for such a long period of time in the upper 3 inches of our skeletal system that we don't really believe the truth of that, even though that it's there from the moment we sit down and acknowledge our presence on the earth, right on through the decades of our practice. And it's because everybody else is being driven by their gray matter. And the rest of the people who seem to be embodied somehow don't have a lot to say. And this seems to be a culture in which the more you have to say, the better off you are. And so we look across the aisle and we say, well, he's babbling. Maybe I should keep on. And we use, because of our doubt, really, we use the our cultural sensitivities. We keep looking at what others are doing for our own sense of guidance. And at some point, we have to break that tendency. We have to let the body do its governance. Let the body do its orientation and alignment. And I can't be so concerned about how you're practicing or what you're doing within your practice for my own sense of timing. And it's very hard to learn how to trust the body. In fact, the body is very difficult to trust in the beginning because it's the holder of aging, sickness, and death. And so it seems very finite, very limited in its capacity to tell us anything other than it has limitations. And so we think, why do I want to be limited when I can think my way into eternity? Why not go there? Like today I was reading in the Washington Post an article that said, cosmologically, this universe could have been sucked into a black hole. And that, because they think that when matter goes into a black hole, it's what's created there is other universes. And that we could have gone into a black hole whenever, and this is the result, and we would never know it. So I read that, and I thought, well, that's interesting, but what difference does it make? I mean, I could just go on and on about how I get out of this black hole. And it really was the scientists would just come up with endless things for us to concern ourselves about. Like the Andromeda galaxy is colliding into ours in 3 billion years. That should have you on the edge of your seat. Well, I mean, my God, let's look at this thing and deal with what we've got in front of our eyes here. Not worry too much about whether we're in a black hole and another galaxy is coming running at us. Because this thing steadies itself in balance and composure when we release the need to worry, when we release the need to have to plan for all the contingencies possible. And that begins to show us that, you see. But if we're not in the body, it will never show us that. None of this will ever be known. To take up residence in the body, to really let it inform our consciousness, rather than to be directed by thought, but to let the body take a leadership role, begins to show us what we're doing when we live a mentally directed role. It shows us the limitations of our life. It shows us where we've gone askewed, and we begin to get a sense the wisdom of full embodiment. Of full embodiment. In fact, the Buddha at one point said, the whole world is created from within this fathom-long body. That everything that we have worried or sensed or thought, or everything that we see and project, everything. I don't think he was limiting it to just physical sensation. He meant every aspect of the world. And so embodying ourselves begins to show us how we're doing just that. And also, as we begin to learn how to trust the body, which is not an easy thing, because not only is the body the holder of aging, sickness, and death, but it also shows us the scar tissue, which I've mentioned before, the emotional scar tissue of our memories, which are often locked within our physical systems. And when we come back into the body, we feel our lack of forgiveness, our lack of tolerance for ourselves. We feel the memories of the uncertain and perhaps even abusive history that we have had. We feel the tensions of our history. And if any of you have ever had deep body work, often what comes out are these very entrenched memories along with deep and profound and often volatile emotions locked within the system. And the other thing that the body begins to reel us in from is the projection of goal setting. Where do we think this meditation, this spiritual journey is going? It's going to full embodiment. That's where it's going. And unless we're fully embodied, we'll never completely come to a full realization or full awakening, because we'll constantly think about where, in concept, this spiritual journey moves, instead of letting the body show us where it moves, directly, perceiving it directly from the body. And so the body starts reeling in the propensity, the need in ourselves to think outside of ourselves, to think ahead of ourselves, to project our life in front of ourselves. And we start embracing from the body, embodiment, we start embracing from the body, we start embracing now, with a capital N, N-O-W. We start embracing now, because the body doesn't hold a future. It holds the incrustation of the past. It holds the volatility of what has been engendered in it. But that is really coming now. It's not coming from the past. It's not something that the past is coming into the present. It's that the present holds the past simultaneously within itself. And so when I start feeling the past come through me. It's really the present, the past that lives within the present, not the past that we think has occurred at one point in our history. All emotions, all thoughts, all memories come from the present. And so when we start widening the definition of what the embracing presence is, we begin to see that the body lives very much at the center of that presence. And that establishes a quietude that keeps us, that has been the noise of the journeying forth, of making the future real, or the past and trying to work out the past and try to settle all the scores within the past. All of that tediousness of our life settles itself out in this fathom-long body. So we have to ask, why does our mind want to leave the body? What does it get from it? You see, it wants to leave it, as I mentioned, because of the emotional residue within the body and the lack of forgiveness we've given ourselves. And I think Heather may have talked about forgiveness last week. And I don't know how she spoke about it, but there's an important component of meditation, of spiritual journey, where we have to work on the stakes that we have placed into the grounds of the past that we have been tethered to. We have to start pulling those up. We can't constantly be turning around and excusing ourselves for things that have long since passed. We need to move on. And to heal with that often takes a little time, but it is done most thoroughly and effectively. In fact, it can only be done fully embodied. And the other thing that our minds, the noise that our minds leave everywhere, it's like a slug. You know, it kind of leaves a film wherever it moves. Wherever we move to, we never quite emotionally finish, and complete mentally. And so it just we have trails and traces of ourselves. Practically could retrace our steps of our lives just following the slime of the slug. And what the body provides, which is very quieting, is a moment-to-moment closure on situations. I mean, it's here and then it's somewhere else. It's speaking and then it's not. And there really isn't anything but closure when we govern our intelligence in accordance with the body. It doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes. But it doesn't rip our body apart. It doesn't create a tension within our body where the body has to go back and move forward and back in eternal cycles of forgiveness and unforgiveness. And so it's necessary to feel that moment-to-moment closure and start practicing that. You know, where you're totally embodied, you're saying things from a heartfelt connectedness, and letting the body be governed by the heart which lies within it. And then saying whatever seems appropriate to say or act in whatever way seems appropriate to act, and then let it be finished, let it be done. Why does the mind have to carry over a memory trace of everything? I should have stayed a little longer, I need to go back, I need to, or you just have this kind of emotional trace of that lingering quality of that conversation, and we can't then move into a new conversation because we're still in the previous one. It's this sense of moment-to-moment closure that the body can provide. And also an end to some of this restlessness that many of us have. You know, if we want to quiet down, we have to be willing to stop some of this absolute reckless and restless behavior that we take part in. Wherever we are, it's not satisfactory. You know, it's just kind of feeling like our nerves are just on edge all the time. That we got to get up, we got to start moving, we got to keep moving. If we're not moving in location, we're moving from job to job, from relationship to relationship, from house to house, from person to person, from thought to thought. What do you think? What is the guidance that we need except the guidance of the body? I mean, I think it's such a great teacher, and I think it's so overlooked. It's just been around, you know. We just take it, and she's like, I know what this thing is. It's what I see in the mirror. Is it? See, the next step the Buddha takes us on is a real critical perception of what the body is. Let's see what this body is. And deeper in the sutta, the Buddha suggests don't bring memory, remembrance, or knowledge to the body when you sit down with it. Don't bring what you know about it to the meditation. Now that's huge, because he's essentially asking us to release the image of what we know ourselves to be. And so when we sit down, this question of what is the body should arise, because if it's made out of the stuff of stars and planted firmly in the earth at the same time, we're really exploring the cosmos here, not just this physical limited form. And we should be able to see the infinite within the limited. And as we begin to become quieter and not carry the image of ourselves, in fact, I would suggest in the meditation, the next time you do, to go into the breath and physical sensation of the body, then just drop carrying the image of what the body is. Just drop the image. See what the meditation is like. And many people come out and say, oh, I lost any concept of the body. As if the body shirked the concept. No, the mind did that. It just released the need to think it into place. When that thought wasn't there, it became infinite. It became other than what we have always thought it was. And it's extraordinary, really, how infinite it can become simply by allowing it to be such. You see, and you also begin to see how we've ward off within that image the boundaries of self and other, of yours and mine, of this and that. And that the body is trying to impart a knowledge, something much greater, something more mysterious, something much more vast. And the mind keeps trying to corridor it back into something that's very contained, very certain, very reliably known. And so the mind on the body looks like an oppressor, really. But just the willingness to release the need to constantly reform it back into what the mind says it in, the body becomes very expansive. Boundaries are released. The edges are not seen as the edges of skin. And the universe becomes vast within this. As each thing ultimately has to show us, so the body has to show us its vastness. Each thing must show us its vastness. Because it's all vast. It's all centerless and empty and vast. And we really see, too, as we try to perform the gymnastics, the mental gymnastics of trying to come to self-acceptance, which I find many of us spin out on for long, long periods of time, much longer than we need to, because we never come to that. You'll never come to a complete self-acceptance as long as you're trying to do it through the mind. The mind will always hold judgment. That's what the mind does. It'll always hold a critical evaluation of yourself. You're not accepting enough. You've got more to do. That will be the messages when relied on mentally for self-acceptance. But the body holds a complete self-acceptance in its relinquishment of the mind. For it's not complaining about anything. It may be in pain, but it's not complaining. It's holding everything in absolute stillness of itself. And therefore there's acceptance within that stillness. Even acceptance of the mind as it holds the mind in with all of its noise and all of its antics and all of its movement. The body's not moving like that. The mind tries to get it to move, tries to get it to but the body in its essence is just holding that. Now if you want acceptance, you have to go into what holds the mind, not try to find it in the mind itself. You can't juggle the material in the mind and come to acceptance. But that which holds the mind has always been and will always be accepting of it. It doesn't try to get you to do anything other than what you're already doing. It doesn't try to weigh in and judge. It just holds. It's just there. It's like the most reliable thing you could ever imagine. Not reliable in the fact that it doesn't age or get sick or die, but reliable in the fact that it doesn't whine about what it's going through. And that's a wonderful quality that we have lost sight of. The body is quiet. And as we enjoy quiet, more quiet, and we enjoy the journey towards stillness, we enjoy the journey of the body that the body takes us on. And the body has a beautiful tool for meditation that, again, I think is often disregarded. And that is the ability to attend, to actually hold steady and to listen. Listen bodily, not mentally. We're not listening through our judgments and opinions. That's listening with the mind. But listening with the body's intelligence. And as the mind gets quieter, the body's intelligence rises to listen, to sense. It senses. If you want to find a fast track to the intuitive, you do it through the body, not through the mind. The mind's not going to show you that. Because the body senses. Senses. Far richer and more refined and more subtle than the mind. And as you do a full body listening, that is the state of meditation. There isn't some other state you need to be in to meditate. Meditation is equivalent to the state of listening, of rapt attention, where everything is being received, where everything is being held. And from that, when the body is called into action, from attention, from listening, it does so in spontaneity, not from calculated conditioning. It doesn't think about what it's going to do. It acts from that sense of the intuitive. It acts from spontaneity, from the creative impulse of that listening. It arises from that listening. Again, not in a calculated, thought-provoking way, but in a assurance, having taken in, it now responds. In fact, the taking in and responding is really one and the same. You don't have to check in with your history to see what's appropriate. In fact, the less you check in with the history, the more appropriate it is. Because the history, for the most part, will limit you. It limits us. It says, don't do this, you're not up for that. Stay in this, do that, because you've always done that. Do what you know is reliable and you can foresee the result of. It won't let us out of the trap door of the mental corridor that it has us in. It just keeps finding new pathways within the same maze, but it doesn't get us out of the maze. And somehow the gold box is just out of sight, just out of reach. But spontaneity takes us right to the gold box. Its actions are from the gold box, the goal being spontaneous, natural, organic action. And so this sense of body that we have been living with now for the 16 weeks really of it, ultimately has us end in stillness, in silence. For the body is a holder of stillness. And you can begin to see that that's so disturbing for the mind to be held in stillness, that what it does is it puts a partition of noise between itself and the body, and then makes the body noisy. So that there's always something we're feeling about the body and complaining about it. It's not the breath, it's like, how well am I breathing, and how well am I doing, and was this a deep enough breath, and did I catch it? And we're just this constant commentary on the body. The body, it doesn't say anything. But the mind can't stand the fact that it's not talking back to it. So it invests as much as it can within the qualities of the body by mentally evaluating and comparing its body to other bodies, or its body to an earlier body type. And then, oh, this hurts, and this complaint, and this is sore, and this, and then it just is full, fills itself full of noise, and looks at the body and says, oh, your age. It just covers it. It's like paints it, so that we never see the genuine and natural color of the body. To keep anything between ourselves and stillness, that's the object of the mind. The mind does not, cannot, and will not rest with quietude. But it can learn to rest with the body. And as it works its way through the body, egoically, it sees the need. It feels compelled to come in alignment with the body. And the body teaches it about silence. Teaches that silence is safe. Teaches it that it doesn't have to constantly focus externally. It teaches the way towards relaxation. It teaches the way towards listening. It teaches the way towards full embodiment. And so the mind, begrudgingly, gives up much of its need, having been seen exposed for what it was, and the investment of energy now going into the body rather than the mind. The mind becomes unemployed, lost in, doesn't have a job to fulfill anymore because we're not moving in relationships to its noise, to its sounds. And so finally it comes to rest. And may that happen to us all. Can we have a sit for a minute or two? And as you sit, I just want to read the final paragraph of the foundation of the body. In this way, he or she remains focused internally on the body, in and of itself. In and of itself means what it really is. Or externally on the body, in and of itself. Or both internally and externally on the body, in and of itself. Or he or she remains focused on the phenomenon of origination, how it comes into being, how it's taken to be something. Or the passing away with regard to the body. What happens when we release the image? Or on the phenomenon of origination and passing away. Or his mindfulness that there is a body is maintained to the extent of knowledge and remembrance. So this just in reminding myself I have a body, that's the only thing that brings it back into being. And he or she remains independent, sustained by not clinging to anything in this world. And this is how a monk or nun remains focused on the body in and of itself.
आज के प्रवचन का सारांश आपको बता देते हैं। उन्होंने जो अभी तक इन्होंने प्रवचन दिए उनका एक तरह से सारांश किया इस प्रवचन में। कुछ बातें वही जो कल भी थी वही दोहराई कि जो सेक्रेड है, जो पवित्र है, वो नहीं, कुछ भी जो मन विचारों से बनता है वो नहीं, जो खुद ही स्वयंभू है, अनबॉर्न, अनक्रिएटेड, जिसे अजान सुमेध वगैरह कहते हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा हमारी प्रैक्टिस जो है वो किस तरह से हम जांचें कि वो ठीक डायरेक्शन में जा रही है। तो कहते हैं कि ऐसे अगर वो इस डायरेक्शन में जा रही है कि हमें सोचने की आवश्यकता कम पड़ रही है तो वो शायद ठीक डायरेक्शन होगी। तो फिर उन्होंने बताया कि इस बॉडी काया अनुपश्ना के सेक्शन में पहली बात थी आनापाना की, माइंडफुलनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ। तो उन्होंने कहा उसका बेसिक उद्देश्य बताया कि इस मन को शांत करना, अटेंशन को फिक्स करना, और इसमें हम सांस के बारे में सोचते नहीं हैं, सांस को जानते हैं ताकि हम वर्तमान में जी सकें। और उस तरह से अभ्यास करते करते, और उस स्पेसिफिकली भी बताया जाता है कि हमको शांति को शरीर मन में लाना है, मन को शांत करना है, जो उसमें इंस्ट्रक्शन है पसंभयम काय संखार। उसके आधार पर उन्होंने कहा ताकि शरीर जो है वो तनाव से मुक्त हो जाए, हम ठहर जाए मन शरीर एक जगह। तो जैसे जैसे शरीर ठहरता है तो मन का भी ठहराव होने लगता है, उसकी हिलन चलन भी कम हो जाती है। और जब मन शरीर ठहरता है तो साफ मालूम पड़ता है कि मन के डिस्टर्बेंस से कितनी शरीर में दिक्कत होती है, वो बात समझ में आने लगती है और हम वर्तमान में जीने लगते हैं, क्योंकि शरीर हमेशा वर्तमान में रहता है। दूसरी बात उन्होंने कही कि शरीर का जो एक्चुअल फिजिकलिटी है, जो उसमें डिस्कशन किया कि बॉडी शरीर का रूप क्या है, जो सतीपठान में कई सेक्शन आते हैं उसके बारे में उन्होंने कहा। बेसिकली उसका सारांश इस तरह से निकाला कि वो हमको अपने बताता है कि हमारा शरीर जो है वो प्रकृति का भाग है। मैं उसको इस तरह से कहूँगा, कॉस्मोस को हटा के प्रकृति का ही भाग है, उन्हीं एलिमेंट से बना है जिससे प्रकृति बनी है। और इस कारण से हमको इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस, परस्पर निर्भरता की ओर ध्यान दिलाता है कि हम इंडिविजुअल्स नहीं हैं, परस्पर निर्भर हैं। और एक और बात कि शरीर हमेशा जहाँ रहता है, वो वर्तमान में जहाँ भी है, वो हमको कॉन्फिडेंस दिलाता है कि ये ठीक जगह पे ही है। इसका मतलब मन हमेशा कहता रहता है ये ठीक जगह नहीं है, हमें कहीं और जाना चाहिए, कुछ और करना चाहिए, लेकिन शरीर अपनी तरफ से ऐसा कुछ नहीं कहता। और अगर हम उस पर कॉन्फिडेंस करें तो मन भी धीरे धीरे मन की जो टेंडेंसी है भागने की, वो भी थोड़ी कम हो जाती है। तो असली बात उन्होंने कहा कि जब तक मन और शरीर हमारा सामंजस्य में नहीं आते और दोनों वर्तमान में जीने की आदत नहीं डालते, तब तक हमारी साधना आगे बढ़ नहीं पाती है। और इसलिए शरीर जो है मन को भी सेटल करने का, स्टेबल करने का एक अच्छा माध्यम बन जाता है, क्योंकि शरीर की जो अपनी इंटेलिजेंस है, नेटिव इंटेलिजेंस है, वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा है मन की इंटेलिजेंस से। मन की सिर्फ सोचने की शक्ति है, शरीर की निहित इसमें जो बुद्धिमत्ता है शरीर के अंदर की, कब क्या करना है, कि शरीर के विभिन्न अंगों को कैसे कंट्रोल करना है, वो ऑटोमेटिकली होता रहता है। वो बहुत अधिक है मन के अपने विचार के आधार पे जो हम इंटेलिजेंस करते हैं, उससे बहुत ज़्यादा अधिक है वो। और हम समझ भी सकते हैं कि अगर हमको कहा जाए कि हार्ट की रेगुलेशन करनी है और हम खाना जो भी खा लें, हमारा ब्लड का हीमोग्लोबिन वही रहना चाहिए, हम कुछ भी कर लें, हमारा सोडियम पोटेशियम लेवल सेम रहना चाहिए, तो किसी मन के बस की बात नहीं है। वो शरीर की जो नेटिव इंटेलिजेंस है उससे वो अपने आप होता रहता है, जब तक कि हम उसको बहुत बुरी तरह हिला नहीं देते। तो फिर उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि लेकिन बहुत शरीर पे विश्वास करना आसान नहीं है, क्योंकि एक तो शरीर का अपना धर्म है कि वो बूढ़ा होता है, बीमार होता है, मरता है। और दूसरी ये बात है कि अगर हम शरीर पे काम करते हैं, काफ़ी साधना करते हैं, शरीर के बारे में देखते हैं, कायन उपासना ठीक से करते हैं, तो जो हमारे दबे हुए संस्कार हैं, जो अनुशय क्लेश हैं, वो सामने आते हैं, जो हमारे शरीर के अंदर एक मेमोरी की तरह स्टोर्ड हैं शरीर के ऑर्गन्स के अंदर, वो साधना करने से बाहर आते हैं तो लोग घबरा जाते हैं, उससे फिर उसको संभालना दिक्कत हो जाती है। लेकिन अगर हमें पूरी तरह से शरीर और मन को सामंजस्य में लाना है तो वो करना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि तभी हम वर्तमान में जीना ठीक से सीख पाएंगे। जब तक कि वो हमारे जो अनुशय क्लेश हैं उनको बाहर आएँ और हम उनको प्रॉपरली हैंडल करें। और जो हमारे कृत्य हैं जो हमने किए हैं, उनकी जो मेमोरीज़ हैं वो सामने आने लगती हैं और फिर हमको बेचैनी होती है, क्योंकि हम पुराने कामों को भी आज का ही समझते हैं और उसके कारण मन में एक अपराध बोध जागता है। उन्होंने बताया कि मन की रेस्टलेसनेस के बारे में उन्होंने समझाया कि जैसे इतना मन चंचल रहता है तो वो शरीर को भी बैठने नहीं देता, कहेगा इधर चलो, ऐसा करो, इधर हिलो, वैसे हिलो, जबकि शरीर थोड़ा बहुत कष्ट भी हो तो चलता है, लेकिन मन उसको हिलाता रहता है। तो इसलिए हमको शरीर के जो निहित हमको सिग्नल आते हैं उनके ऊपर ज़्यादा जजमेंट अच्छी करें, जजमेंट अपने डिसीजंस की उसके आधार पर करना सीखें तो शायद ज़्यादा अच्छा जीवन जी देंगे। तीसरी बात उन्होंने कही कि बॉडी जैसी है उसको वैसे देखना, और जो हमारे मन में विचार बना हुआ देख के आँखों के आधार से, क्योंकि जब हम शरीर को उसको देखना समझते हैं, शरीर की संवेदना को देखते हैं, उसकी बात को समझते हैं, तो धीरे धीरे मालूम पड़ता है कि शरीर की जो बाउंड्रीज़ हैं वो लगता है सीमाएं जो हैं वो फिक्स्ड हैं, वो वास्तव में नहीं है, क्योंकि वो परस्पर निर्भरता है सारे वातावरण से, सारे प्रकृति से। तो शरीर की बाउंड्री हिलने लगती हैं और मन जो है वो उसको सहन नहीं कर पाता, तो वो उसको किसी तरह से फिट करना चाहता है अपने परसेप्शन के हिसाब से। लेकिन जब हम काफ़ी समय तक उस तरह से उस बात को देखते हैं, समझते हैं, तो धीरे धीरे एक्सेप्टेंस आने लगती है। क्योंकि शरीर की तीसरी बात की कि जो शरीर की इनके साथ इंद्रियां हैं उनमें सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन तो उसके माध्यम से आता है। अगर हम उस इन्फॉर्मेशन को ठीक से सुने तो सचमुच में वही ध्यान है, जिसे अजान सुमेध वगैरह ओपन अवेयरनेस कहते हैं, कि आप जो कुछ भी आ रहा है उसको जानिए। क्योंकि उस तरह से रहेंगे तो हमारा सारे वातावरण से, सारे प्रकृति से हमारा निरंतर वार्तालाप उस सेंस में चलता रहता है। और फिर उस ओपन अवेयरनेस के आधार पर जो डिसीजंस होंगे वो सब स्पॉन्टेनियस होते हैं, स्वतः हो जाते हैं, इंट्यूशन के आधार पे होते हैं। हम शरीर जो है कैलकुलेशन करके डिसीजन नहीं करता है। तो अंत में उन्होंने यही कहा कि शरीर जो है सचमुच में अगर हम उसको शरीर पे ठीक से काम करना सीखें तो हमारे को शांत करने की उसमें क्षमता है, और मन को भी धीरे धीरे वो अपने साथ बिठा के उस मन को भी उसके आधिपत्य में ले आएँ तो धीरे धीरे मन भी शांत हो जाता है, मन भी सीख लेता है किस तरह से शरीर के साथ रहना है। और तब सचमुच में हमारी साधना क्वाइटिट्यूड की तरफ बढ़ती है। मन बिल्कुल शांत, मन और शरीर दोनों शांत होते हैं, तो फिर हम आगे काम कर सकते हैं। का अभ्यास करते हैं। आज जो हमने चैंटिंग की थी उसके अनुसार करते हैं आज। आप याद होगा कि वो जो बात हो रही थी, हर दिशा में हर ब्रह्म विहार का रेडिएट करेंगे सारी तरफ से। तो जैसे हम फुल मेहता चांट में भी करते हैं, पुरथिमाय दिशाएं, पूर्व दिशा, उत्तर दिशा, दक्षिण दिशा और फिर उसके बीच की दिशाएं, तो वही, और नीचे और ऊपर, तो उसी तरह से वो 10 दिशाओं में हमको मैत्री को रेडिएट करते हैं। तो वो कैसे करते हैं उसके आज थोड़ी सी चर्चा कर लेते हैं। तो पहले तो जैसे हम अभ्यास करते आ रहे हैं वैसे ही अभ्यास करते हैं मैत्री का। सबसे पहले अपने प्रति मैत्री। तो हम जो मैत्री की चांट हैं वो चाहें तो मन में कर सकते हैं या कर लेते हैं, मन की चांट भी कर सकते हैं साथ साथ, ताकि मन में वो भाव बन जाए अपने प्रति मैत्री। क्योंकि आजकल हम सभी लॉकडाउन के कारण और इतनी जो रेस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं उनके कारण काफ़ी परेशान हो जाते हैं। अहंगवेरो होमि अव्यापंजो होमि अनिगो होमि सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। फिर अपने प्रियजनों के प्रति करते हैं, याद करके मन में चित्रण करके चाहे तो। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च सह ब्रह्मचारिणो च अवेरा होन्तु अव्यापञ्जा होन्तु अनिगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। आरक्षा देवता भूमट्ठा देवता रुक्षट्ठा देवता आकाशट्ठा देवता अवेरा होन्तु अव्यापञ्जा होन्तु अनिगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब उसको विपुल महग्गतेन अपमानेन, मतलब असीम और विपुल मात्रा में बढ़ाने के लिए सभी प्राणियों का प्रति जो है, सभी पहले एक दिशा का ही, कभी तो दिशाओं की बात नहीं करते, कभी पुरानी प्रैक्टिस करते हैं। सभी प्राणियों को मन में विचार करके, चाहे वो स्थूल हो, सूक्ष्म हो, किसी भी लोक में हो, धरती पे चलने वाले हों, पानी में विचरने वाले हों, आकाश में चलने वाले हों, समस्त प्राणियों को, सबसे नीचे के लोकों से लेकर ऊपर के भवाग्र तक, सब्बे सत्ता सब्बे पाना सब्बे भूता सब्बे पुंगला सब्बे अत्ता भाव पर्यापन्ना सब्बा इत्यो सब्बे पुरुषा सब्बे अरिया सब्बे अनरिया सब्बे देवा सब्बे मनुष्या सब्बे विनिपातिका अवेरा होन्तु अव्यापञ्जा होन्तु अनिगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब इसको चारों दिशाओं में रेडिएट करने के लिए, जैसे हम अपने शरीर पे ध्यान करते हैं, हृदय वत्थु पे, खास तौर पे चेस्ट के नीचे, और अगर हमारे मन से मेत्ता भावना की है तो वहाँ पे एक अच्छी फीलिंग आती है, अच्छी वेदना आती है, तो उसको महसूस कर सकते हैं। एक वार्म फीलिंग आएगी, अच्छा लगता है वहाँ पे ध्यान करते। और फिर उस वार्म फीलिंग के आधार पे उसको सारे शरीर में व्याप्त करने की कोशिश करते हैं। टॉप ऑफ द हेड, सिर के सिरे से लेके पाँव की पगतली तक उसी तरह की वार्म फीलिंग सारे शरीर में व्याप्त करते हैं पहले। इस प्रकार मन अगर सचमुच में प्रसन्न है तो सारा शरीर हल्की हल्की सुखद वेदना से भर जाता है। फिर हम विभिन्न दिशाओं में उसको फैलाने का प्रयास करते हैं। सबसे पहले अपने सामने की दिशा में तो कोशिश करते हैं अपने सामने की दिशा में रेडिएट करने का, जितनी अनंत असीम जिस हद तक हम कर सकें, मन में भाव करते हुए सबका मंगल हो, सभी सुखी हो, निर्वैर हो, चिंता मुक्त हो, प्रसन्न हो। क्योंकि समय ज़्यादा नहीं है तो पूरी डिटेल में नहीं कर पाएंगे लगता। तो इसी तरह से मैं समझा देता हूँ, सामने की डायरेक्शन में, फिर राइट साइड, फिर बैक साइड, फिर बाएं साइड, फिर बीच की दिशाओं में, फिर नीचे, फिर ऊपर। तो धीरे धीरे जैसे बार बार रेडिएट करते हैं तो सारा शरीर हमारा इस मैत्री की तरंगों से भर जाता है और वो सब जगह रेडिएट करते हैं, सब जगह उसको फैलाते हैं। तो इस तरह से मैत्री भावना पूरी विपुल महगते न अपमानेन उस स्तर तक मैत्री भावना की जाती है। फिर इसी तरह से करुणा, पहले करुणा को जगाएं किसी कारण, किसी आधार, आलम्बन के आधार पे, फिर उसको फैलाएं, फिर मुदिता, फिर उपेक्षा। तो उसको विस्तार में कल सुबह करते हैं, घंटा भर बैठ के करेंगे। अभी संक्षेप में ही कर लेते हैं क्योंकि देर हो रही है। तो जो हमारा मैत्ता चांट है उसके माध्यम से बाकी का आगे का भी पोर्शन पूरा कर लेते हैं। मैत्ता तक हम कर चुके हैं, तो उससे आगे था दुःखामुच्यन्तु सभी प्राणियों का दुख से मुक्ति हो। तो जब हम प्राणियों के दुख से मुक्ति की बात करते हैं तो मन प्रसन्न होता है, लेकिन अगर हम प्राणियों के दुख की ओर ध्यान करेंगे तो वो उदासी आ सकती है। तो इसलिए सजगता से मैत्री करुणा का काम करना, कई बार मुझसे भूल हो जाती है तो उस तरफ ज़्यादा ध्यान चला जाता है तो मन बेचैन होने लगता है। तो इसमें थोड़ा सजग रहने की आवश्यकता, कि हम ये इच्छा कर रहे हैं कि सभी लोग जो जैसे बीमार हैं सब लोग, उनका अगर चित्रण करें जो अस्पतालों का तो व्यथा हो सकती है, तो हम उनका चित्रण करके ये शुभकामना हम जगा रहे हैं कि सभी अपने दुख से मुक्त हो, रोगों से मुक्त हो, तो प्रसन्नता देता है, मन में उदासी नहीं देता। फिर मुदिता ब्रह्म विहार, कुछ भी चीज़ जो मैं प्रसन्न करती हो। मुझे आज विचार आया कि सबसे पिछले कुछ महीनों में जो हमें प्रसन्नता सबसे ज़्यादा तब मिली थी जब हम लोगों ने, काफ़ी लोग जो जुड़े हैं उनको याद होगा, जब हमने धम्मारामा के बाहर पिंडपात ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया था, और हलुंगपुर लियम और हलुंगपुर जुंडी और बाकी सब 4-5 और भी भिक्षु आए, और हम सब 40-50 लोग लाइन में लगे। तो इतना भव्य दृश्य और इतनी प्रसन्नता हुई थी। तो उस तरह के जो यादें हैं उनको भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं मुदिता जगाने के लिए, प्रसन्नता जगाने के लिए। और शुभकामना कर सकते हैं कि ऐसी बातें भविष्य में भी आएँ, कोई और व्यवधान ना हो। अब जो व्यवधान तो हो गया है, जो ख़त्म हो व्यवधान, ताकि भविष्य में भी ऐसा अवसर मिले। तो हमारे लिए वही सुख संपत्ति थी। यथा लब्धा संपत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु। फिर उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार, कम्मस्य का कम्मदायादा कम्मयोनि कम्मबन्धु कम्मपटिशरण यं कम्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तदायादा भविष्यन्ति। और सब ब्रह्म विहारों को, उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार खास तौर पे को वाइंड अप करते हुए, तभी सचमुच में उपेक्षा होगी जब आर्य सत्यों का दर्शन होगा, सम्यक दृष्टि होगी। तो ये शुभकामना करते हैं सब लोग मिलके कि सभी प्राणी सुखी हों, और सुखी ऐसे होंगे कि उनके दर्शन सम्यक हों, उनकी दृष्टि सम्यक हो, कोई पाप कार्य न करें। सबे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु, सबे होन्तु च खेमिनो, सबे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा किञ्चित् पापमागमात्, मा किञ्चित् शोकमागमात्, मा किञ्चित् दुःखमागमात्। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सब संघानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु मे। अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादे। साक्षातो भगवता धम्मं नमस्सामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि।